Today I got to the shop a little bit later than usual, but that's all right. We're still gonna get a whole bunch of stuff done because that's what happens every time we're at the shop. And if you're not getting a bunch of stuff done while you're at your shop or while you're at work, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. So the reason why I'm a little late is because I had to stop at the paint store, and I'll show you everything I got.
And now, you're watching the Feeling Cute Might Paint Something Later channel of YouTube. Welcome to BodeVision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. Really appreciate you tuning in. Everything I always say, thank you for joining me on another video, and I really mean it, so thank you. Anyways, what we're gonna get going on today is I have these S2000 parts that I gotta get painted. S2000 lip, and we also got the back bumper right there, and then this is the upper radiator support. That's the insert that goes right there for the back bumper, and then also we have the front bumper. Now I wanted to point out on the front bumper, I wanted to make sure I did this for it to look like it would as if it came from the factory. And what that means is these black inserts, I gotta make sure I don't paint them and I actually leave them black. So that's what I'm gonna get started on doing. But first I'll show you what I got from the paint store. So starting with box number one, here we go. I buy stuff in bulk because I get it a little bit cheaper that way, and you know, cost is everything. So I got 3 gallons of clear right here. Over here, some 220 sandpaper. I go with the 6-inch and I buy 50 at a time. It's a lot cheaper that way, and I like working with the hook and loop rather than the stick. And then we got a little plastic prep wipe. That's just some pre-prep wipe. Whenever you're using any of these newer parts that come raw plastic, you gotta wipe it down. And then we got the white base coat for the S2000. This color is Grand Prix White. And then also we have some white sealer. That's gonna go on all these parts before I lay down my base coat. So it's gonna be primer, sealer, base coat, then clear coat. And then here's a activator for a primer, another activator for a different primer. This is one of the primers. This goes with this activator. This primer goes with this activator. We have this activator. This is the activator for the sealer. That's a 4:1 mix ratio. You gotta keep all these in your head. Not really, it's really written down on all the packages. And then we have the hardener for the clear, hardener for the clear, hardener for the final clear. Let's get that cleaned up and then we'll get started. So that's looking just how you'd expect it. I mean, really, it's just tape over an area. So the plan is with that area that's taped off, is that black that the plastic already is, which I believe is a black primer from Honda. That's just gonna be the black that you see. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my sealer over this primer, and then I'm gonna do my white Grand Prix base coat, and then I'm gonna pull off that tape, and then I'm gonna clear coat over everything. That way there's no kind of loose edges that can come up, and I don't know how everybody else does it, but that's just the way that I do it. So this is what we're looking like after the sealer, and the purpose of the sealer, well, the reason why I'm using it is it's just an extra layer of assurance that the base coat is really going to bind with the primer underneath it. It's just like a little extra layer, like I'm saying, a little extra layer of assurance, and also it's going to help me out with my coverage. Since I'm using a white base coat and I use a white sealer underneath it, I'm not going to have to use nearly as much base coat, and then that's going to save me a little bit of money as well, but I'm still going to act like it's a normal amount. But either way, I'm not going to have to do as much because there's going to be a white layer underneath white paint, so therefore you're going to have to use less white paint. One of the biggest difference that I've noticed between a primer and a sealer is a sealer is a lot thinner and it's going to spray out a lot smoother, and it's also a little bit easier to get some runs in your sealer, so you got to be nice and careful. But the sealer has to look really good before you can do the base coat, because whatever's underneath the base coat is going to be shown through the clear coat. So at this point in your process, if your sealer doesn't look smooth, you got to backtrack and do something else. I don't know, sand it down and then maybe reseal it. So our next step is for me to go ahead and do the base coat. I'm not going to show you that because that's going to look exactly the same, and I feel like visually it's a little nicer to see the white going on top of the black as opposed to the white going on top of the white. Alright, so the base coat went down pretty smoothly. The only thing that I noticed as I was doing the base coat is this color has a little bit of a cream to it, almost how championship white has kind of like a creamy, like an off-white look. This is pretty similar, even though it's Grand Prix white, not championship white, but you get what I'm saying. So now it's time to get ready to do my clear coat, and coming over here, you can see I got that area good to go, that area good to go. So that looks pretty good, and that'll work. Man, so everything looks pretty good. I don't know why. I was getting so exhausted as I was painting this, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because that bumper is pretty big, so I was expecting to just do 2 bumpers a lip, and I don't know. At this point, I'm just complaining. And something else that I can point out, if you saw this little bug, that landed in there after it was pretty dry, but not dry enough. So I'm just gonna wait until it completely dries, and then I'll get it off there. And if it messed up the clear just a little bit, and that's the worst that it could have done, I'll just wet sand it down a little bit and buff it. Man, it looks pretty good and pretty cool to get my hands on an S2000. Well, some S2000 parts. I've actually never worked on an S2000, and at one point I was gonna buy an S2000 before I actually found Project Pepto, but Project Pepto was such a better deal, and S2000s are so expensive, but they're super nice, so it makes sense, and that's why they're priced the way they are, so it's justifiable in that sense. And so coming up, I ordered all of my hardware for the wheels, so these faces will be back in those barrels very shortly. I ended up going with the chrome because I think that's gonna look real nice, and that's the way that my Civic looked on the VSXXs. It was the gold with the chrome hardware, as you can see right there, gold chrome hardware, and then the polished lip. So it's gonna kind of look pretty similar, even though this is gonna be a really meaty setup, and that was more of like a style or a stance setup. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta get everything I just painted, I gotta get it pushed aside because I wanna get Pepto back in the shop, and then we'll see where the rest of this day and the rest of this video goes. Man, 2 things. One, I wonder if Pepto's gonna fit in here with the bumper right there. it'll be close. And another thing, I've been meaning to mention this in video after video after video, but I just forget about it, so I'm gonna mention it now. Actually, one of my subscribers was nice enough to send me this gun holder, and I mean, it comes in handy so much. It's just supposed to go like this. The cup's supposed to fit right up there, but this one has the whole 3M cup system, so either way, it still works. And huge shout out to my subscriber that sent me that. Thank you so much, man. And I don't know how I've gone so long without it. It's just the little things like that that really make a difference when you're at a shop for efficiency, having a good place to put your gun down at. And I don't know what I was doing for so long without it. Thanks again, man. I appreciate you sending me that. So the next thing I gotta do, we gotta get wrapped up. It's coming towards the end of the day. Definitely a satisfying day. This looks really good. I'm really happy with how it came out. Solid. Overall, it's really solid. So I guess the next thing I gotta do, we gotta get old Pepto over there. Right there, old Pepto. We gotta get her back in the shop. Wheels are gonna be mounted soon, and hopefully sooner than later we can get this thing tuned. I knew it would be a little tight, but it fits. Look at that. Man, so we are all good, and I had to hit a little boost. I let it warm up a little bit, but even still, man, I cannot wait for this thing to get on the dyno. I know the process has taken a little bit longer, but like everything in life, if me, if you, if we all had a little bit more money, then different things would happen at a different pace. So I got to continue to do little jobs like a bumper, lip, fender, different things here and there to keep Pepto going, to keep content coming, to keep everything going. That's what we need, and that's what I'm going to keep going until YouTube can sustain my wallet. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, let me know what you think about this whole process. If you had any questions, be in the comment section below. So again, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, check out the merch. I'll see you at IBOC. Let me know down below if you're going to be at IBOC Orlando this Saturday. So I'm out.